Hey guys, David C. Anderson here coming at you from the Knife Center. Today we're going to be taking a look at Zero Tolerance, one of our favorite brands of high-end knives that are made right here in the USA. ZT is dedicated to using some of the highest-end manufacturing processes available today, and they're not afraid of taking chances, which you're about to see. And today we're going to be taking a look at some of our favorites, what we think represent the best of the ZT lineup, and you can find them all here at KnifeCenter.com. One of the things ZT is known for is their collaborations with some of the best custom knife makers in the business. And this first one is a collaboration with Hinderer. This is the 562. This knife is definitely one of the best EDCs in their lineup, and it features all the hallmarks of the best modern knife construction. Like most of ZT's lineup, this is a flipper design featuring a titanium frame lock. It opens very smoothly thanks to their bearing-based pivots. The titanium lock bar features a hardened steel face which interfaces with the tang of the blade, and there's a disc here which prevents over travel when you're disengaging the lock. The steel-on-steel interaction in this lock not only lasts longer, but it's going to help prevent lock stick, which can plague certain titanium frame locks over time. The grind on this knife is unique. They call it the slicer grind. It's an angled flat grind that both allows for efficient slicing and a strong tip. You can get this with a carbon fiber front scale, but the version we picked here comes with G10, and it also comes with a deep carry pocket clip, making this just a perfect option for hard use EDC. When you think of ZT, the words stylish and overbuilt immediately come to mind. It says so right on the box, proudly overbuilt in the USA. And this next knife is a perfect example of that aesthetic. This is the 456, which is a collaboration with Dmitry Sinkovich. This knife definitely feels substantial in the hand and features a very angular sheep's foot style blade with a high flat grind. This titanium frame lock, rather than featuring G10 or carbon fiber on the front, features 3D milled titanium. And we've got blue hardware for contrast, both on the pocket clip, backspacer, and on the pivot. And the anodization on the pivot really stands out. It actually shifts towards purple depending on where you hold it in the light. The finish on this blade is two-toned, with a stonewashed finish on the flats and satin finish on the grind. And there's a lot of meat behind this blade. You really feel like you can get a lot of work done when you're holding this knife. Next up is another collaboration with Dmitry Sinkovich, but this is on the complete opposite end of the spectrum as the 456. This is the 450. The 452 is the bigger brother to this 450, and it's a great knife, but we really like this small version right here. It's definitely one of the most easy to carry ZTs out there, and it can still get a lot of work done thanks to that slim but very sharp blade. This version features carbon fiber handles, as well as a black DLC coated blade, some nice green anodized standoffs for contrast. Next up is the 770. This knife is notable for a couple of reasons. This is the only knife on our top list that was designed completely in-house by ZT. It's not a collaboration with another knife maker. But the knife this was based on, the 777, as soon as it came out, the sleek and elegant lines of that knife made it an instant classic. And we're happy to now see this design more widely available. Some other things that set this knife apart: this is the only knife on our list to feature an assisted opening mechanism. That assist mechanism is called SpeedSafe and was designed by Ken Onion, a frequent collaborator with ZT's parent company. Rather than a frame lock, this knife features an inset liner lock, showing off the precision that ZT is able to achieve. This knife is available in a couple of different finishes: a black DLC coated blade, and ZT's signature black wash finish, which is a blackened blade that's been lightly stonewashed for an awesome looking texture. This type of finish has some advantages over certain other blade coatings, in that it doesn't add any thickness or friction to the blade, ensuring your cuts stay nice and efficient. Next up is the 55, and this is a completely different kind of flipper for ZT. This faceted design is a collaboration with Gus T. Cecchini, and you can see his initials right here on this hidden flipper tab. When you're ready to deploy this knife, the tab rotates open until it engages the tang of the blade, at which point it works like any other flipper. With practice, this happens in one smooth motion. Once the blade is open, the flipper tab disappears right into the frame for a very streamlined design. This design is all about angular momentum, with faceting on the machined titanium handle echoing the shape of the blade. The blade itself features compound grinds and a fully stonewashed finish, which not only helps hide scratches after you've used the knife, but it also increases the corrosion resistance of the steel. The other detail on this knife that we really love is this anodized blue floating backspacer. Really complements the overall style of the blade. This next knife is a collaboration from two of the biggest custom knife makers in the business, Todd Rexford and Dmitry Sinkovich. This is the 850, and the first thing you notice about this knife is how light it is for the size. And that's all down to their patented sub-frame lock. Rather than the normal frame locks you've seen so far, the only titanium piece on this backside is the lock bar itself. It's anchored, in this case, to a full carbon fiber frame, which is what allows it to get that same great lockup while minimizing the weight. This is also the only knife here that doesn't feature a flipper mechanism. But the action is still excellent thanks to that buttery smooth pivot. Some of the really cool details on this knife include the thumb stud and the pivot, which are reminiscent of the cylinder on a revolver, and that theme continues through this machined cylindrical aluminum backspacer. Also upping the style even more, rather than a simple stamped and folded pocket clip, you have a full machined pocket clip on this knife. Finally, we've got the 609. If every ZT is a statement piece, the original 606 on which this knife was based was a master thesis. This is essentially the same knife, only scaled down to be a perfect size for everyday carry. This knife is a collaboration with R.J. Martin, and it really shows off the manufacturing prowess that ZT is able to bring to bear. The anodized titanium frame is not only sculpted on the front, but also the back. It also features R.J. Martin's signature see-through pivot, riding on KVT bearings, making this one supremely smooth firing blade. This knife would make a great gentleman's carry, but because it's built by ZT, you also know it can put in a lot of hard work. All the machining work that ZT did on this knife not only looks great, but it actually makes it a more usable knife. The machining on the handles create a nice bit of texture to hold on to, and this edge of the spine right here is rounded, making it great for choking up and doing finer detail work with it. All in all, you're getting a knife that's extremely usable and extremely stylish. So that's it for our list of top ZTs. How do you guys think we did? Did we leave anything out? If you want to make your own list or leave any suggestions, make sure to leave it in the comments. And to keep up with all our knife-related content, be sure to like and subscribe. If you liked what you saw here, you can find all of these knives over at KnifeCenter.com, and be sure to come back often to see what deals we're running on the best knives and tools on the web.